I forgot to add us on the screen because I was trying to fix my mic issue. Hello, everybody. How are you this evening? Van, I can't hear you now. Okay, here we go. You're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you now.
That seems like a kind of thing I would do when it's just me on here.
Yes. Now, I was like, you guys said I was quite quiet. And during the intro, I know that sounds like a lot to do with the intro. I brought up my sound settings, tested my mic, and it says that it's at 9% of the volume.
Oh wow.
So I'm like, okay, there is something going on. And I'll try to fix it during the interview specifically so that I'm not
Okay.
interrupting any more of the show. Hi, everybody. Metzo and Van here, back for Kyber Cave Productions Saber Rattle. Hope you've had
Hello,
a
hello.
wonderful week.
Mets, I feel like it's been forever since you and I have been together.
Yeah,
Like
well,
when
last week you weren't on. And then the week
right.
before, I don't remember.
No. We
um,
had did we have to reschedule last
We had to,
week's?
yes, we had to reschedule because my back. I could not keep sitting up yet. But guys, if you're wondering how I'm doing, it's a lot better. I actually rescheduled the trip. I was going to fly out to New Jersey
Right.
that next weekend, and I had to cancel my trip because I couldn't even like walk. So I have rescheduled it now. I leave September 11th to fly over to New Jersey, and I come back on the 19th. If we get our guests scheduled that far out and everything, I'll have things done ahead of time, and all we would need
Uh,
is someone to host that weekend.
well, we'll see how we go. I've got unfortunately our con schedule. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, our con schedule's booking. Speaking of which, I'm so excited. Guess what email we got today?
Oh, I don't know
I
what.
got an email that I've literally been waiting 3 years for.
Okay, hang on. Hang on. I'm ready.
Yeah. Do tell, do tell. Uh, we got an email from Sac Anime asking if we were if we still wanted a spot available. We've been trying for
Oh,
3 years to
yeah,
get into Sac
ages.
Anime.
Yes, you've been trying for ages. I'm so excited for you guys.
That is like our local local huge con, and we have never been able to get in. So you
Yeah, I'm
basically
really
have to like.
excited.
Oh, I am so
When is it?
excited too. So, huh? It's
When
like
is
this
it?
next weekend.
Metso
Like
might
a
have to make an appearance too, huh? Because it's not very
yeah.
far.
Yes. In fact, we could throw you in as a booth member or what have you. Hey, what's up, Lynn? Lynn is my homie from the way back. Um, and I also have to say, I want to give a quick shout out to Ann. Ann in China. Ann is our distributor for
Mm-hmm.
TXQ. He takes care of all our needs at the shop. If you've ever gotten a Saber on time, it is thanks to Ann. We love Ann and TXQ. We are very, very loyal to our product.
Yes, yes.
Yes, SAC Anime next weekend. Hopefully, we're getting the last of the paperwork in and hoping somebody didn't prank us. And then after that, we have another exciting con that we at Kyber Cave have been waiting a year for. We knew about this con when it was just a little baby inception of a con. I don't even think it was much more than beer thoughts past that, maybe just a little bit past that. But we have been waiting for this con for a year. You're going to hear more about that later on tonight. So, Sack Anime, y'all. Look for Kyber Cave, baby.
Woohoo! And I might even buy a ticket if you can't get me a badge because I'd like to make an appearance. I think that would be nice. All right, so guys, first thing on our
Ooh.
show, what is one of the first things we do? The
Nerdy news.
news. Yes, on okay, I cannot be seen, but
Wait,
that's
we didn't have
okay.
any music?
Comments. I played it.
Did you? Oh, I didn't hear there's music. Damn, I missed it.
Oh, anyway, first story. Guys, you know who wrote the Star Wars theme song and so much of the music for Star Wars is composer John Williams. There is a very good documentary chronicles about the maestro being released. And so if you want to check that out, I just posted I posted it backwards, but I posted the links in the chat for both nerdy news, but they're also in the description below if you're watching the upload. So I thought that was really cool, very interesting. I know he's recently talked about retiring, but I think someone who is an artist like that never fully like retires. Maybe he won't be doing it as a living, but I think he'll always be making music, even in like his head. Next is you got the new Star Wars Outlaws trailer takes us back to the underworld. If you guys want to check out the new trailer, which is pretty cool, it is in the description in that link below in the article. It's a new video game coming up, and I think it looks like a lot of fun. Maybe something that someone needs to play on the channel or something. Who knows? I even got like Jedi Survivor and like some Star Wars games if I ever get the time.
Hey, and
said, ready to play download and can't come soon enough.
I have a piece of
it's Fat and Black Connection.
Who is Fat and Black Connection?
That's Mark, our guest.
Oh,
He's laughing. He's laughing at her. He's laughing at Van from down below. Like, I can't believe it.
Oh yeah, I remember. Okay, yes.
See, when you research the guest ahead of time and look at their Facebook page, you know who they are.
Well, yes. Oh, sorry. I just have that ADD brain.
Time. You know I'm going to do that to you. All right.
We are going to be finding out more about.
Check that out there.
Yes, that was in the trailer too. So, hey, you know what? I have a piece of. It's not necessarily nerdy news, but it's maybe nerdy controversy.
Oh, okay.
Do we want to hear about that?
Wait, hang on. I need the fan. I need the fan again.
You're giving me the vapors.
What is this controversy?
So, some of you may or may not know that recently Disney has made the decision not to give a second season to Acolyte 2. This was a shock to some people. Some people it was not necessarily a shock. But what has been very interesting is that a lot of fans have noted if you go to official Star Wars websites and if you go to a lot of the toy stores, that all the Acolyte merchandise has been pulled. So there were action figures, there was toys, lightsabers for these different characters, and it almost seems like Disney is trying to scrub Acolyte from its existence. But I do want to let you know that Kyber Cave has right now we have the Indira saber. So if you were a fan of Master Indira in the Acolyte, we have her saber, and I think we are getting two more. We are getting the Sith saber. I'm not sure if it's going to have the secret compartment. And we are getting Master Soul.
It's not a secret when you say that, though.
Well, when you tell them, but the show's already out. It's done. If you wanted to see it, you would have.
I haven't watched any of it yet, which I know is really bad. My husband and I really only get like an hour and a half at night to before we end up falling asleep, especially with the kids in school right now. We have to get up quite early. And I know a lot of people are. I saw a post for those who don't know who Winnie Van Landingham is. She's a big in Easter eggs, Marvel, that kind of stuff. She's on Twitter. She's formerly a New Rock Stars person who breaks down stuff, and she made a very good point today about toxic fans who are celebrating it being canceled. It's understandable if you didn't really care for it or something. But to celebrate it being canceled is kind of sad, especially when there were a lot of people who worked on it who are probably really proud of what they made. And those people are now going to be out of the job. I think overall it's kind of sad. And Fat and Black Connection, yes, it sounds like fake news. Just check the Disney Store website and they have Acolyte for sale. And some people also made a speculation that they were going to try to scrub it like Batgirl had been scrubbed. But I'm like, well, Batgirl didn't even come out. That's kind of different.
Right.
But I think, and I saw today too a post that there was a petition with over 15,000 signatures wanting Acolyte to not be canceled. I don't know if that's going to end up actually growing or not. I'm sad for the story that won't continue and for the people who were proud of what they made and it got such bad reception and people shaming it so badly.
I will say this.
I've ever shamed, and that was a movie 10 years ago.
It sounds. This may sound stupid, but it was one of the first times I really stopped to think about fake news, right? I watch almost exclusively YouTube, and a lot of times I'll see a lot of these other people that have theories, or they make their living by talking about certain genres or maybe nerd culture in general. But I saw so many channels just destroying Acolyte long before it came out, talking about, you know, all this wokeness. And when you actually go to watch it, I was like, dude, we had more woke stuff in the 80s. You know what I mean? Like the movies back then had a lot more controversial stuff than we even talk about now. But, you know, you get one even mention of a mother connection or, you know, one even, they don't even have to talk about it. It's just two people in the background and people start going crazy. And then when I watched Acolyte, I was like, you know, I saw somebody back here said that there was 3 episodes in and they knew they were done. But somebody said 4 episodes and they were hooked. So I definitely won't say it was the best Star Wars product, but I don't feel like it was the worst Star Wars product by any means. And there was certainly holes in it, but I would have been interested to see where it evolved to, because you know,
somebody
else was pointing out a lot of old school TV shows. Their first seasons are terrible. It takes them a couple seasons to really catch their legs.
I have to agree with Mark here in the comments, says that Solo was the worst of all the Star Wars, I think, cinematic creations.
You know what? I didn't like Book of Boba Fett myself. There was good stuff about it. You see, you need to get caught up. Did you watch? Did you watch Obi-Wan?
Oh,
did you watch Obi-Wan?
I love Ewan McGregor, so I'm gonna watch Obi-Wan. I've been a fan of Ewan McGregor for 26 years, I think now.
Wow.
So I'm gonna watch stuff that he's in, and I was really excited for him and Hayden Christensen to be in the show together. So, all right.
Wow.
If you guys want to, I want to make sure if you want to support our channel, you can do so by going to patreon.com/KyberKid Productions, and you can support us for as little as $1 a month. We also accept YouTube super chats. It's a great way to support our channel as well. It goes towards the monetization of our YouTube channel, and it's really helpful towards us. We also have a merch shop, kcpmerch.com, where Mezzo and Graveyard actually have a couple things, but mostly Mezzo just kind of puts it together. I have a sweatshirt, I have a phone case, I have a notebook that's
my backpack's in the other room.
Yeah, my kids used my backpack. They kind of took it away from me. But we have lots of good stuff. We even have like Pilsner beer glasses, like with Retro Alcove on there. If you don't know what Retro Alcove is, it's on break at the moment, but Graveyard, who has been a longtime host on the show, we play retro games like we did Myst and Riven and like lots of point-and-click adventure fun and stuff like that. Anyway, so moving on, James Kaiser is our producer for Flow of the Show. Flow of the Show is where we feature an artist, whether it be a fire dancer, glover, saber spinner, competition person. I'm trying to say like label them correctly, or even someone who does glow sticks. We feature them on the show, and you can check their info out in the description. I did put a link to their person's Facebook. This is Darnell Goodman, also known as Pharaoh. Enjoy.
Woo-hoo!
that is Darnell Goodman, y'all, known as Pharaoh. If you would like to check him out, you can see his.
So he actually goes against my typical theory.
I knew you were going to say that.
What is my theory? What? Tell everybody what that's all about.
That all fire dancers have long hair.
I
was like, I wonder. I thought to myself, I wonder if Anne's going to notice.
That was absolutely amazing. I love the especially when people do fire, because I feel like it's such a natural instinct to be afraid of fire. So to be able to control it, manipulate it like that is pretty bad. Pretty cool.
From my water. Oops, Nikes. Excuse me.
It says those Night Vision said those behind the back elbow wraps were awesome.
Yeah, and that was a really I really enjoyed it. So thank you, James Kaiser, for bringing us that flow. We're actually a week ahead on flow, so we even had like next week's already lined up. So keep an eye out for that. But I just put the link to the flow where he posted it in the chat. And then you can check it out in the description if you're watching the upload. Now it's time for our guest, sir. Would you like to introduce?
I would. I am excited about this. We were dropping little hints. We were dropping little seeds throughout the opening. But this gentleman here that we're going to be talking about has been putting together an event that is roughly about a year in the making. I think that was when I first started hearing the stirrings of this event that might be happening somewhere soon, and I had to be a part of it. And as soon as I heard that it was happening, I want to say if Kyber Cave was not the first person that signed the vendor form, we were like within the top 3. We were like ready to go. This gentleman is the director of Kaboom. Well, he's the director of a few different things. He does a podcast, does a show. We'll talk about all those different things. But most importantly, he is director of a con that is coming to a town near you called KaboomCon. Let's find out more. Give it up for Mr. Mark Helton. Boom! KaboomCon.
What's going on?
How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm living the dream.
I've been waiting to talk to you, my friend. This is on that poster. It says this is going to be Carson City's first ever Comic-Con.
That is
correct. How do you feel about that?
Well, I will say you were right. This has been over a year in the making. Me and my business partner James, we attended a con last year in the Northern Nevada area. It was really bad, and we were like, I think we could do this better. And so I started looking into it. Found out Carson City, the capital city of Nevada, has never had a comic convention. Was like, okay, well that's an opportunity. And the original plan was I just need 20 vendors to break even. If I get 20 vendors and sell some tickets, we'll break even. And, that was the objective. We were just getting the gym, this little 10,000 square foot gym at the community center. And the community has just owned it. I mean, we have over 75 vendors signed up. We've got a 550 seat true like community theater. I mean,
I was going to say what you originally started with blew up quickly from what I understand.
And you were number 2. You were close. You were number 2. You gotta give credit to Gen 7 Comics. They were number 1.
All right, Gen 7, you beat us by a little bit. We still I told you we made the top 3.
And quite literally, it was only by a matter of about 5 hours.
Oh, wow. See, it was right there. As soon as I found out about it, I was in. So why is it that, you have a partner. This is not just you doing this, right? There's a group of you, correct? Or is it...
I would say KaboomCon is like 90.
Well, let me ask. Let me ask this though. I know you have I believe it's the podcast, the Fat and Black Connection, right? And I met you. I think I met both of you going at other conventions, you guys would have tables set up advertising for KaboomCon. But I met him as well at those there. Is he a part of KaboomCon, or is that a whole separate thing?
Yeah, so I'm the fat friend from the Fat and Black, and he's the black friend. His name is James, and him and I have been very close friends since high school. And so our company is called 97 and Out Productions because we met back in 1997. So, so he is involved, but it's hard because he's based out of Vegas. He will be here for KaboomCon. He's actually flying in next Saturday. He'll be here for the whole week leading up to the event. But it's hard. He's down there. I'm up here, and that's part of why we do our podcast show, is so that we can catch up and talk about stuff. And it's kind of a conversation between him and I that we let everybody be a part of.
Right. How long has the podcast been running?
Well, it started in 2020 because of COVID. He had moved down to Vegas, and I was worried about him. I wanted to check in on him, and we were on Facebook doing a video chat. And noticed there was a little live button, and was like, "Hey, you want to go live?" And he said, "Sure." And we did, and we've just been doing it ever since.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. So it seems like you've got, you were telling me before this, we were talking about, all that you've got going on. You've got the convention going on. You've got your podcast going on. You have a regular 9 to 5 going on. You have your hands in a lot of different little pots. Is that correct?
You are correct. I also, we produce audio dramas. So we have 2 major ones, Oak Bridge, which just had its season 1 finale on Friday released. It has taken off. It is huge. It is massive. It's huge. We have over 80,000 downloads in less than 10 weeks. Wow. It has been consistently in the top 15 of all fiction audio dramas in the United States. It has consistently been in the top 5 of sci-fi all audio dramas in the United States. So it's just been killing it. Huge. I love it. It's a great show. If you like X-Files, if you like Stranger Things, Twin Peaks, check out Oak Bridge. We have our other one, which is Murphy's Inc. It's on a little hiatus right now. We've got 2 seasons out there. But it will be back for season 3. And part of the reason for the hiatus is because we also started a comic book branch of 97 and Out Productions called Icy Sound Comics.
Wow.
Yes, which the creative lead team on Icy Sound Comics is the dynamic father-son duo of Lawrence and Diego Iriarte, who are well known, especially in California, for the work that they've done on the Lumpia comic book and films, Lumpia with a Vengeance. So they're trying to kick out their own stuff now, and man, is it amazing. And I'm giving you guys a world premiere sneak peek at an ash can that we'll be releasing at KaboomCon, Mickey Mouse and the Fantastic Worlds of Steamboat Willie.
Oh my gosh, that is absolutely amazing. That will be available at that con for the first time?
First time ever, yep. Limited series, 333, first run.
That is absolutely amazing. How do you, first off, and then you also have a regular 9 to 5 job on top of all of this, correct?
I do. I work for the state of Nevada. I am, my official title is a budget analyst 3. So I deal with, finances and money and fun stuff like that.
And where do you find it? It's so funny because I listen to, I'm listening to you or whatever, and it seems like so much of what you talk about kind of lines up with my personal story. And in fact, one of my buddies that's online right now, we've been friends since the 6th grade. He's the black guy and I'm the fat guy in the combination. So it's so funny how much of our stories are like lining up right now. You have your hands going on in so many different things. How do you find the time to do it? And also, it seems like you found a way to make your individual different passions kind of come together in some kind of weird alchemy.
Yeah, so if you knew me 4 or 5 years ago, before any of this stuff really started, I grew up, I'm a theater nerd. I love to act. I love live theater. I love being on stage. I love performing. We're doing a live show right now, right? So people can chime in, whatever. I love it. That's what my podcast is too with James. But COVID brought about no live theater. I literally was in rehearsals for a show, 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, a musical that was going to be done in south of Carson City in a town called Gardnerville. And the Friday before we were supposed to open, so theater people would know that as Hell Week, we found out that the governor was shutting the state down. So, so the show was scrapped. So I had no outlet. And, luckily, James and I, we started our podcast, our live interactive podcast, kind of like you do here. And then we also found out about audio dramas, which I love old time radio. I grew up listening to Abbott and Costello, Fibber McGee and Molly, The Shadow, Green Hornet, The Lone Ranger, all of that kind of fun stuff. And there was a guy up here that was doing a audio drama, and he was looking for voice actors. And I hadn't really done much voice acting since high school or college, but I was like, you know what? Let me audition. Didn't end up getting in initially. So I was pretty disappointed. Part of it was my mic was really bad. So he called me back a few months later. They had another part. They needed somebody, and I jumped on, and it really sparked a fire in me to want to do it myself as well, which led us to Murphy's Inc. And we're doing too much. And to your point of where do I find the time? I don't find the time. That's the issue. I get very little sleep. I have a kid. I've got a little kid. I've got my wife, and I just I try to do too much. That's the reality. I gotta I'm hoping KaboomCon is a massive hit that, somebody out there wants to jump in and get involved for a year 2 or something. I'm hoping that, we have our Icy Sound presentation that, is going to be really massive at KaboomCon. We're talking an hour and 45 minutes of wall to wall, just amazingness. And we're hoping, maybe Disney comes knocking, wanting to pick this guy up. I would love to give up the 9-to-5 job. It's nice to have the security of, retirement at some point, but I plan to work until I die probably. So, yeah.
But well, that kind of answers, I think, a little bit of the next question I had was I was wondering if some of these things were, there are some people who it's almost like an itch that has to be scratched, right? I have to write a novel. That's something I've just got to do before I die. I have to act in a something, or, I've got to record my album. That's what I want to do before I die. I was wondering if these were itches that you needed to scratch, or were they long-term fascinations? If KaboomCon 1 is a success, it sounds like you're ready to go on to KaboomCon 2.
Yeah, so for me, I am a person that likes to help others be successful. So that's the weird part, is it's not about me as much as it is about those around me. Talking about Lawrence and Diego Iriarte, for example, I've known Lawrence since I was in high school as well. And seeing these guys over the years and what they're doing, and wondering and asking them multiple times over the years, why aren't you doing your own stuff? You have amazing ideas that you've shared with me. What are you waiting for? And a lot of it sometimes is just capital. They need the cash to get it done. And I'm not rich by no means, but when I see something that I believe in, that I think is cool, I get behind that. And so the mission statement of 97 to Now Productions in general is that we're there to help people to get them an opportunity that they might not otherwise get. The creator of Oakbridge, her name's Ashley Dean. She's based out of Georgia. She's amazingly talented, but just has never really gotten an opportunity. She's pitched shows to other people, to other companies, and nothing. And, we read Oakbridge, the pilot, and me and my partner were like, we've got something. Now, does it appeal to me personally? No. That style of show, I'm not a big fan of Stranger Things. X-Files is okay, but I knew that there was something special there because of how massively popular Stranger Things is. My business partner loved it, so it was like, let's do this. And so, I don't think either of us would have thought that it would be as wildly successful as it has. To that same extent, KaboomCon. like I said, I just wanted to get 20 vendors. If we could just get 20 vendors, that would be huge. Where now we have Brent Anderson, the artist behind Astro City, God Love Man Kills for X-Men, like Kezar, like Brent Anderson, who hasn't done a convention in the United States since 2019.
Wow.
The fact that this guy is coming to this event, Chris Moran, and known for Doctor Strange and Wonder Woman in the 80s, like these guys want to be a part of this. It wasn't like I had to go hunt them down. So it's.
Are you a comic book nerd?
I used to could. I don't have time to read, and so I love MCU. I love the films. Don't love DC so much. It kind of disappoints me because I was growing up, I was a Superman kid. Like I loved Superman ever since I was a little. But unfortunately, I feel like DC is not living up. We'll see what happens now with James Gunn at the helm. I'm willing to give an opportunity. We'll see. But yeah, unfortunately, true comic book, like sitting down and reading, I don't have time, unfortunately.
Right. So we've got the comic book here that is going to be an ongoing series. So we've had to produce that. You had KaboomCon that you've been promoting for, which, by the way, I must say is a brand new thing for you, right? It's not like you've gone around throwing around conventions all the time.
This is the first one.
So you had to learn that as you've been going and promote it and get everything out there. The comic books, I wouldn't guess. It doesn't sound like you have a long background in producing comic books. The audio, going on and being one of the.
This was the first comic. This was an ash can that we had at Silver Age. This was the first thing I ever produced from a comic book standpoint. So,
wow. Your audio, you were saying that it's one of the top audios in the country. How do you find such instant success? Like it sounds like you got the Midas touch. Like you become interested, and all of a sudden you've got the keys on how to market a con, although you've never done a con before. You were shooting for 25 and you got 75. How does that happen?
I mean, you know what good looks like, right? At the end of the day.
Yes, I hope so.
Right. So I'll tell you, a long time ago, I used to work in restaurants and retail, and I had left the restaurant industry to go to the retail industry, and they're different. They're not the same. And I was hired as a manager straight in, and I came in and I took my time. I was kind of wading in the water before I jumped in. And my district manager, who I'll never forget, his name was Joey. He said to me, "What are you waiting for?" And I said, "Well, Joey, I need to get my footing. I need to learn the product. And he said, "No, you don't. You know what good customer service looks like." And I said, "Well, that's true." And he said, "Then stop waiting." So to that point, one thing I took away from that conversation is that don't wait. If there's something you want to do, if there's something you think is cool, something that you find passion about, just go do it. Because I can tell you, I spent too many years in my 20s not doing that. And I don't regret it, but it makes me wonder if I had been this passionate and this driven to do these things back then, where would I be now?
Right.
Because in the last year, we've gone from having fun, and this is a lot of hobby stuff because it's not making a lot of money yet, to where we are on a precipice, quite frankly, that in the next year, I would expect we're going to see some serious offers. So it's, at the end of the day, it's believe in what you're doing. And I do. I believe in Lawrence and Diego. I believe in James. I believe in these people that I work with. Jimmy Jones over at Pop Culture Kaboom, who I put, do his podcast as well. If you don't believe in what you're doing, you should really question what it is you're doing.
All right. Jimmy is my connection to, Jimmy's everybody's connection to everything. I love that guy. He, every time I'm out in Nevada, I and see him. But he was the one that let me know about KaboomCon at first. Tell me a little bit more. I want to know a little bit more about your podcast. How often do you guys do it?
Sure. So Fat and Black Connection is on Wednesday nights. It is very similar to this conceptually. It's live, interactive. We go through YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, all of that kind of fun stuff. But Fat and Black Connection, 8 p.m. Pacific. And we go on for however long we want. You know, our catchphrase is where we talk about anything and everything as long as it's interesting to us. And it's hard. It's hard because sitting through the top of the show when you guys are talking about Acolyte and stuff like that, as you saw, I'm like commenting because I want to be a part of the conversation.
You had your ideas.
But I'm like, ooh, you know, I've got a show in 3 days, so stuff to talk about.
Right. Yeah, I was noticing on there, and then, you know, tonight when you definitely, I could tell you're a podcaster because you're very open about your opinion. You're not afraid to tell people what you think.
Well, one thing I learned very young was I don't care what anyone else thinks. You know, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but it's like at the end of the day, if I spend too much time worrying what everyone else thinks, I'm never going to get done what I want to get done.
Good point.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, where does your wife and your family end up in all this? Do they have the interest in the same things that you do, or are they do they kind of play the support role in the things that you do? And because I've got it, a lot of times when I interview people such as yourself who are very passionate and they have a bigger vision a lot of times than most people can understand, their spouses oftentimes are just the most incredible supportive people you could ever meet. Because I know that when you're passionate about something, it does take a toll on the people around you as well. It doesn't just become your project, it becomes your family's project.
You are correct. I love my wife. She's amazing. She is supportive. I wish that I was not insane and that I would focus more on a few things. The conversation we always have is you're taking on too much. I'm taking on too much. And she's absolutely right. I do take on too much. And, my hope is that I take on things and it's a short term. I take it on so that I can get it to somebody else. When we did Murphy's Inc., I was the showrunner. I did everything for that show. And then when we did Oak Bridge, I said to James, my business partner, this is yours. You're running this. You own this. I'll still EP, executive produce, and be involved, but you're directing, you're doing the primary casting, you own it. And he did. And it's amazing. I want to help others. Even, one of my philosophies in the private sector of working always was pushing people outside of their comfort zone. And again, had I ever produced a comic book before a few months ago? No, but I have now. And I love this fact that Jimmy Jones from Pop Culture Kaboom told me. I am the first ever comic book publisher out of Nevada, because I am not an artist. I'm helping with stories to an extent. Lawrence calls me, the Stan Lee, the editor in chief, if you will. So I'm involved in helping, but I'm a publisher. I am not a writer or an artist. So I am publishing other people's work. So I am the first comic book publisher, my company, out of the state of Nevada. And we have 8 individual properties that we are going to be releasing over the next 12 to 18 months. We've already shown that teaser for Murphy's Inc. We're going to have this teaser for Mickey Mouse and the Fantastic Worlds of Steamboat Willie, with more to come. We just recently announced that we're going to be doing an Oak Bridge graphic novel companion to go with season 1. So 9 individual properties. We're going hard. We're coming at this from, thinking like the Image Comics mentality when they first started of, it doesn't need to just be 2. DC and Marvel. There can be more, and it doesn't need to just be 4. There's a big 4 now, right? So Image and Dark Horse, they're up there with them. We're coming for it. We want to be number 5.
That is amazing. Man, I find it absolutely amazing. The state of Nevada. You would think, especially being right next door to California, with having Vegas, with having Reno and Tahoe, for you to be the first comic book producer just blows my mind. I would have thought somebody else would have done it by now.
Yeah, and there are a ton of independent comic books, right, that are the artist publishes themselves and stuff. But in regards to truly being a publisher, doesn't happen. And again, it wasn't even my original intent. I didn't even know this until a couple weeks ago when Jimmy was like, "Hey, so did you know that you're the first ever?" And I'm like, "Nope, cool."
Wow. Accolades to you. That rocks.
Yeah. Well, and I'm a California native. I left there. I hate the traffic. I hate the taxes. So that's part of why I came to Nevada. No income tax. It's great.
Wow. Do tell.
Hey, the nice thing about this area, Northern Nevada, Reno, Carson, and everything, is you're only 3-4 hours away from the Bay Area, less than 2-ish from Sacramento. It's about the same drive down to Southern California. So,
wow, yeah, you're leaving a lot of good points there, my friend.
Cost of living is better, housing market's better. It's the only thing I miss about California, one thing, is the weather. It's pretty consistent, pretty straightforward. Up here, you've got the snow and you've got the sweltering of the summer, but where in the Bay Area where I grew up, it was pretty even keel all year round.
Right. So I think you've kind of alluded or answered kind of this question, but just to make sure that I understand. I look at you were talking about these creations and all these things that you were creating, and you were talking about how with James you've let him know that you're helping, but it's still his baby for the the audio dramas, and so you do that same thing with each of the people that you're working with. Did you let them know that you are kind of the support, but it's still their baby? Mm-hmm. Do you see yourself? I don't know if you're aware of the character Darth Nihilus. Darth Nihilus had a hunger that could never be satisfied. So when he would take in more souls and he tried to keep, satisfying himself, he always just wanted more and more. Do you see yourself, you're just a part of 50 projects here in the next couple of years, or will it ever be enough for you? That's what I'm asking, Mark. Will it ever be enough?
I want to say yes, but in reality, probably not. I'll tell you, I'm in my office here, and right up on my wall, and looking at it right now, is the original sketch that Walt Disney commissioned of Disneyland. For anybody who knows what I'm talking about, it's an amazing, vivid image that really tells a story. And the reason that I have that is it's a way for me to seek inspiration. Walt Disney, for all of his faults that he had, is a genius. And, he got into everything, right? He started out by drawing sketches, created Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, got, frankly, screwed there. Then him and Ub Iwerks came up with Mickey Mouse and the rest of the story, right? But along the way, what did he do? He created WED Industries, or what we now know as Imagineering, right? And think about what that company has done, separate and aside from the television, from the movies, from the animation, from everything, right?
Right.
And then you look at other people that I find myself looking at for inspiration. George Lucas, who created ILM, created Skywalker Sound, created THX, because they another one, James Cameron, right? Think about the advances in technology that he has brought about. My point is that I don't want to say that I am one of those people, because I don't think I ever could be, but I look at those people for inspiration on how to be successful and to think outside the box. I once started a website with a friend. It was called Fictionade. He had this idea of, let's hire a bunch of like freelance writers and they write fiction and we put it up for them and we host it. And the titles that we had at that company, he was the chief visionary officer and I was the chief manifest officer. He would envision it. I made it happen. And so, when it comes to these comics, for example, these are not my vision. These are Lawrence and Diego's vision, and I'm helping make it become a reality. These audio dramas. The guy who created Murphy's Inc., his name's Milliam Chan. He is now a 22, 23-year-old kid out of he's based out of Australia, who came up with this elevator pitch idea, and we took it and ran with it. Ashley Dean, Oakbridge on the East Coast, Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, I took their ideas and I made them happen. And so for me, I just, like I go back to, I know what good looks like, or I know what I think is cool. And if I think it's cool, probably there's a segment of people out there that will also think it's cool.
Right. Wow. I need, what did you say? Manifester? Is that what you said? That's what I need. I need to hire you as my manifester. I need to make some things manifest in my life.
Absolutely.
Now, is this kind of like just your general life philosophy that you've had, that you just have kind of applied to these industries, or are these things that you've learned through these industries, through the work that you've done here?
No, I would say the majority of my thoughts and philosophies come from, working in the private sector and seeing, the one thing that always drives me, and I've said this for a long time about, like, in California, there is a failure rate of a restaurant. About 70% of restaurants fail in their first 3 years. Do you know why that is?
Probably because of how fast the produce, how much inventory they have to buy, and how much waste they have, and probably not marketing correctly.
So both of those things would tie into the actual reason. And the root cause of why so many restaurants fail in California is because a person with money goes into a restaurant, has a really bad experience, and says, I can do this better. And so they try to open their own. I told you that Kaboom-Con came bred out of an experience of going to a bad con.
Right.
And I could have done it on my own completely, but I don't know that we would be where we are. I reached out to people like Jimmy Jones, who got his fingers in cons all over the country. I reached out to Lawrence and Diego, who have attended many cons all over the country. I talked to resources, because the other thing that I think is extremely important is that you recognize where your deficiencies are, and you build people up around you that can make up for that. And do I know everything there is about running a con? Nope. Am I going to learn a lot through this process? Yep. Even today, I just put in an order for a bunch of other things, because I'm like, oh crap, I probably need this stuff, because I've never done this before. But that doesn't scare me, and you have to be humble enough to listen to people. My biggest thing that I'm going to be doing after this con is reaching out to people like you and all of the attendees and the vendors and saying, what could we have done better? And it's not because it's just service. It's because I genuinely want to know, what can we do to make it better for when we do a year 2.
Right. Mezzo was saying that she learned a lot about managing the con in 5 weeks because of me. If you have any questions about cons, especially on how to put one together in 5 weeks, let me know. I could definitely shoot you some tips. We did a con we just had a con actually 3 weeks ago in our store. It was a very small free convention, but we brought in a couple of Star Wars actors. And then we did one in an elementary school the year before that. So it definitely takes a lot of work. I think a lot of people, sometimes they go to cons, and sometimes I meet people on the opposite end where I guess they think that they can do it better, but they then try to do it and realize how much they didn't know going into it. They didn't realize how much work you had to do behind the scenes to make things happen. And they quickly get overwhelmed. What's up, Kevin? Yes, Kyber Khan mentioned. I equate it very much almost like to planning a large wedding. There's so many small moving parts that you have to coordinate and make sure that everything comes together on time. How do you feel about it? You've got 2 weeks away from it. In fact, this will be a great time for you to let people know everything that you can about Kaboom-Con, when it starts, where it's going to be at, what people should expect. Are they going to be peace bonded with their weapons? Are they certain things not restricted? Some cons I go to, you're not allowed to bring metal weapons. You can only have plastic or, things that are obviously 3D printed. So different cons have different kinds of rules. What should people expect for KaboomCon?
Well, so first of all, September 7th, so just a few weeks away, just one day event, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you are older than 10, which I'm assuming most of your audience is, it is $10. And if you've got little ones, 10 and under, bring them. They're free. Have fun. Family outing. So to your point about questions about, rules and stuff, this is a family-friendly event. And we want people to feel safe. We want them to feel comfortable. That's not to say that if you're a cosplayer and you have a weapon as part of your costume, as long as it's not actually dangerous, it's not real. If it's a katana, it cannot be sharpened, right? It cannot be metal. Like, we don't want you cutting somebody on accident. If it's a gun, we would ask for an orange cap on the end just to be safe. We don't want anybody getting confused out there. Nevada is an open carry state, to be clear. So people are allowed to do that. And so, while we are saying no real weapons, hard to enforce that in a state that's open carry. But we have, as I mentioned, we have the gym set up, which is going to be our primary room where all of the artists and retail and exhibitors are going to be, where lots of fun going to be happening in that room. Then we have the West Side parking lot with food and beverage vendors, as well as some additional, exhibitors and artists and retailers. Then we move up. We've got the Carson City, the city council boardroom, where that room seats about 80 people. We've got some panels going on in there. We've got Dreamwell Comics Shop Chatter with Robert and Jimmy. They're doing a panel called Collector versus Investor. We've got filmmaking in Northern Nevada with a couple of filmmakers up here, Horror Dad Productions and the infamous Rebel. We've got an authors panel, Wolf's Bane in Bloom, with Stephen Provo, Jade Griffin, and MC Hunton. We have, of course, the 97 to Now Productions cavalcade of voice actors. So we've got a ton of voice actors from our shows coming. We've got Cosplaying on a Budget that'll be hosted by Cosplay for Kindness, who are also going to be judging our cosplay contest. And then we've got an indie comic panel with Gen 7, SYD Studio, and Redwood Comics. And that's just in the boardroom. On the main stage, the 550-seat theater, again, full-size main stage where they do massive productions in there. Opening the event, we've got the Reno Video Game Symphony, their jazz ensemble. They'll be doing a live performance. We've got the Chris Moranin panel that'll be moderated by Lawrence Iriarte. Then we have our cosplay parade of costumes, where everybody gets to come up on stage, have their moment to show off and get judged. Then we'll have the Brent Anderson panel, moderated by Lawrence Iriarte. Then we will have a 1-hour live pop culture Kaboom broadcast. Then the main event, the IC Sound Comics presentation, 1 hour and 45 minutes. You're not going to want to miss that. Again, we've got 9 properties, and there is a reason we're called IC Sound Comics. There is a difference to what we're doing and what we're going to be bringing out, and you're going to get some tastes of that at this event. And then we'll wrap up on the main stage with the cosplay awards and the raffle. And the raffle, oh my gosh, this thing is huge. I mean, we've gotten donations from vendors, and I'm looking at you still waiting, but we've gotten donations. From vendors. Some things valued at over $100, which is amazing. We're getting donations from some of our special guests and main eventers. Lots of board games, lots of fun stuff. And the big important thing to remember about this whole event is that a portion of all of the net proceeds are going to 2 local nonprofits. One is KNBC 95.1 FM, the local community radio station, and the other, for those of you that are dog lovers, Cold Nose Rescue and Sanctuary. So remember, this isn't going to fund Mark to do more things. A lot of this is really going to go to good causes. So please, support, even if you can't come. $10 ticket. Come on, show some love.
That is absolutely fantastic. Sounds like there's going to be something for everybody there, for everybody in the family.
I hope so.
Fantastic. Is there with the comic book that's going to be there with the 97 Now? Are you 97 to Now Productions? Do you have a difficulty managing and knowing where you're supposed to be at? It seems like it's one thing when you have your hands in a lot of different pots, but it's a whole different thing when all of those pots come together for one big recipe. Are you? I imagine you've lost a little bit of hair and a little bit of weight over trying to plan and stress out, plan all this.
I wish I'd lose some weight. Hair, I'm wearing a hat, so that tells you something. Right? I would say the thing about the con is I will be everywhere and nowhere. I am running the whole shabazz. We need volunteers. We're still looking for volunteers. So if you can commit to 4 hours, hit us up. Let us know. We have some. We have a local group, the Carson Victory Rollers. They are a roller derby team up here. They're volunteering, so that we're going to have them helping out. But we're still looking for more volunteers. And unfortunately, I can't be at any one place because, to your point, I'm running the whole thing.
Right.
My business partner James, he's going to be moderating a panel. He's going to be hosting the cosplay. He's going to be everywhere. That's right. That's less than a small Whopper meal. Yeah. So I can't stress enough. Come out, support. If for no other reason, not for me, but to support the vendors. That's the big important thing for me now. Once we got to a point where we were basically sold out and don't really have any more space to squeeze more vendors in, it became the focus of making sure that you guys have an audience. Because at the end of the day, if we don't get, enough people to show up to this thing, you guys aren't going to come back.
Right. Are you gonna be taking the trip to Disneyland after on the 8th, or are you gonna decompress and hide away from the world a little bit, or is it just get right back out there and keep pushing?
So the unfortunate thing is that my day job, my 9 to 5, as you said, we are going into a period of time at that job where I actually just found out I'm going to be working a minimum mandatory of 10 hours of overtime every week for the foreseeable future. So needless to say, I will not have time to even try to do anything to decompress. It's going to be pretty much, I think, moving straight into, continuing to get these comic books, as I said, 9 different properties, getting the next one ready, getting them pushed out, starting, because we're going to be doing Kickstarters as well with these. I don't see there being a downtime. Now, I will say one of the things 97 and Now Productions is organizing, for those that might be interested, is a Panama Canal cruise. Yes. So we got a little ways for this. This is going to be in February of 2026. So you've got plenty of time to save and get ready. But we are organizing a Panama Canal cruise. It is a 15-day tour, leaving out of Miami, going through the Panama Canal, and arriving in Los Angeles. So,
wow.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We did one of these last year. We organized a 7-day Alaska cruise, and doing, a big group and stuff. There's discounts and benefits and perks, and it's just a lot of fun. And we will definitely do some special events on this cruise. So if you're interested in that, hit us up. We'll get you more details.
Amazing, man. You really do have your hands involved in everything, and you got your sea legs too.
I have been working on a con cruise since before Comic-Con announced theirs, just to be clear.
Right. I had a similar idea. We when Kyber Cave first started, the business next door to us was a travel agency, and I knew the woman that ran it. I had gone to school with her husband, so we became really good friends. So we had been talking about ideas like that for a long time. Again, long before Comic-Con. So the fact that you're doing it, you're doing it your way is absolutely fantastic. Mark, we're coming up here near the end. You've got so much going on. Are there things that you want to, last minute things you want to tell people, or words of inspirational nuggets you want to leave with people here?
The biggest thing I would say is please check us out, 97 and Now Productions. We've got, Facebook, Instagram. Those are the two main things to follow along. We've got Fat and Black Connection, same thing. We've got Oak Bridge. We've got Icy Sound Comics. That's the big one. This is hitting the ground. I mean, really, KaboomCon is going to be our grand coming out party, if you will, for Icy Sound Comics. We've had so much going on in the works in the background. and you're not going to want to miss that panel. That's the biggest thing I can say. But in regards to one last inspirational nugget that I'll give, this is one of my other personal philosophies. In life, there are going to be things you might not like them, you might not agree with them, but at some point you're going to have to accept it. And the earlier you accept it, the easier it'll make things.
Wow. That is good information to have. Man, Mark, it has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Lynn down here says, "I love what you're doing, Mark." And I wait. Oops. Oh, and you might have
Let
to
me do
count
my
in for
job.
Kaboom-Con is what he said. Woohoo! You picked up another person.
Nice.
Yes. All right. Well, I definitely appreciate you. Like I said, I've had the pleasure over this last year. I've run into you a couple of times at a few different cons, and I've seen this thing absolutely grow. I love your passion for it. Like I said, Jimmy Jones is my connection to you and to all of this. So anyone that Jimmy approves of definitely got my approval as well. For everybody who is watching this, whether you are in Northern California, Southern California, hell, we even have people in Europe that watch this show. Europe might be a little bit far of a commute, but if you're in the area, I say you should definitely get down to KaboomCon. Kyber Cave will be there September 7th, 10 a.m. You said, right?
10 a.m., 6 p.m.
10 to 6 at where exactly?
Carson City Community Center.
The Carson City Community Center.
I left one thing out. That night, starting at 7 p.m., is the Kaboom Crawl.
Oh, the Kaboom Crawl. Yes, you 21 and older will be definitely interested in that. Oh, man. That'll be. It's on Saturday night, too. I might actually be able to make it. All right. Man, Mark, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on. And I will see you and everybody else at the Kaboom-Con. Mezzo, roll that film.
Get ready, Northern Nevada. It's time for Kaboom-Con. Join us Saturday, September 7th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Carson City Community Center. Immerse yourself in comics, movies, games, and more. Meet local artists, attend engaging...
Yep, that was the wrong button.
Get ready, Northern Nevada. It's time for Kaboom-Con. Join us Saturday, September 7th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Carson City Community Center. Immerse yourself in comics, movies, games, and more. Meet local artists, attend engaging panels, wear your best cosplay, and participate in thrilling activities. The excitement doesn't stop there. Legendary comic book artist Brent Anderson and Chris Moran will join us. Meet the creative minds behind Astro City, X-Men, Wonder Woman, and more. Whether you're a diehard fan or just looking for a fun day out, KaboomCon has something for everyone. Get your tickets now at KaboomCon.com and prepare to be blown away.
I'm so sorry. I pressed the wrong button. I was
Okay.
trying to take away the banner so people could see the bottom of the screen better. And I just stopped it.
With his voice acting, like I could totally tell that was his voice doing the commercial at the end. Doesn't he totally remind you of Forrest? I was totally thinking of Forrest.
In some ways,
time.
yes. I actually thought about that. Does my mic sound any better?
You sound fantastic.
I went and I started looking. There was a switch on my interface that wasn't pressed. And there was another setting on my computer that I was able to turn up even more. Now, unfortunately, I have my mic like turned up all the way on my interface. And
well, you sound good right now. Whatever level you're at, you sound good.
That's great. I will leave it there. All right. Well, thank you, Mark, for coming on our show. Really appreciate it. Enjoyed every moment that you were on. We had some great laughs beforehand. Even you not even knowing that it was him in the chat. That was really funny.
Well, I didn't make the connection because I remember seeing that in the the list of.
You didn't make the connection to the Fat and Black connection?
No, I did not make that connection. And you know what? I actually did read your list that you sent me of like potential questions. So I knew it. I just didn't.
I know that was the first time I've ever done that for you. I was like, you know what? I'm going to reformat some of my questions that I've had before and reformat it for our next guest. And then he's free to use any of those if he ever chooses to. All right. So guys, if you want to check out the information, Mr. has officially been cranked to 11. Is it like super loud for you, Kevin?
No, it sounds well.
I mean, I'm asking for Kevin specifically, like people at home. Is it like super loud? I'll look at your answer in a moment. But so if you want to check out Mark's information for KaboomCon, I put the link to KaboomCon in the description, and I had it in the chat. I also linked. He said it's okay. All right. I also linked the policy page. Sounds fine to you through YouTube. Awesome. Thank you, Mark.
Okay, so Mez, really quickly, when he says, and I may be wrong, but when Kevin says Mezzo's officially cranked it to 11, I think that's a reference to
Spinal Tap.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I thought it was a Spinal Tap reference.
You were correct.
I didn't think it was an actual volume thing. I think
no, I knew exactly what he meant, though. I knew exactly what he meant. All right, well, next thing we guys have going on this show is Guess That Saber! Gotta catch them. Gotta wield them all. As our new term. Yeah, gotta wield them all. I bet you can guess what this one is.
Come on.
Anyone in the chat, Van, you don't give it away because you obviously will know. A lot of people in the chat should know. Whose saber is this?
In fact,
saber
hilt? Specifically, some people in the chat that if they don't answer this, they're getting slapped.
Yeah, a virtual slap by Van. You don't want to be slapped because
I will come and track these people down. Some of these people.
Oh, thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Lynn. It is Darth Vader.
Thank you.
This is Darth Vader's saber.
You were one that would have gotten
Twilight Sparkle.
Wow.
Thank you. Flatback action Yaddle. All right. The next one should be easy too. This is the first week. Last week I went kind of hard. Actually, I don't know if you saw last week's. Yeah, I went and did one that was kind of a deep cut, and I gave a whole background to the character. Yes, Les Morton. So here's this one. Can you guess what this one is?
Ooh.
It's turned a little bit, so it might be kind of hard to really see.
I have a guess, but I'm not 100. You know what? I'm going to put mine in the private chat, and then you tell me if I'm correct. We have a private
Van's
chat
gonna
on
do
our side.
Secret guess.
Ooh. Okay.
And Mark are correct. It is Yoda.
Yay!
I went a little bit easier this week for a lot of people who were like watching and didn't know the deep cut from last week. So I was like, I'll be easier for people this week. And
oh my God, last week you were brutal last week. I
felt so bad after, but I was like, I knew that it was going to be one that other people didn't know. But you sent me that picture. So Van sent me a picture of all these hilts in Star Wars canon to use, and I took someone that nobody knew, and I was like, and I actually took notes on her like story last morning.
Right, it was really good. It was deep.
It was very interesting, and I didn't include everything. I included like what I thought was really important, and that was still quite a bit. And so I kind of gave everyone a Star Wars canon lesson on Celeste Morton without like really mean to. But and I put a picture of her in the background on that shot too.
See, you never would have guessed that you would come to Saber Rattle and learn Star Wars lore.
Especially not from me.
Especially from you, I know.
When I first joined the channel 2 years and 4 months ago, almost exactly, that 3 days from now, it'll be 2 years and 4 months. I liked Star Wars and it was fun. I wasn't like hardcore, and I joined the channel. I was like, I'm going to need to learn Star Wars stuff. Because I remember like my second week, and you're like, no, that's clone troopers, it's not stormtroopers. And I was like, oh gosh, sorry. Like I was super embarrassed and like felt bad. So I started like studying up and stuff like that. Now I a lot of people who have watched do know I have not seen any of the animated shows either, because I did not know until the new Rockstars era that I was like really watching and joined them, their Discord and stuff, that there was a thing called canon, and like those were all part of it and stuff. And I was like, now I'm overwhelmed. So there's no way I'm going to ever be able to catch up. So, oh well, that's a thing.
You can do it. I have faith in you.
Maybe I'll record my reactions to them and make content. There you go.
We should totally do that. Like I've been wanting to do like more shows, and I've been getting comments that a lot of people like your and I's interaction. And I was like, maybe we should watch some like Star Wars stuff together, but like my having watched it a lot of times versus your first time watching it. Yeah.
I was wanting to like do that with my youngest. He hasn't seen any of the Star Wars yet.
See, and that would be really good too.
I talked to him. I say, hey, bud, I want to record you kind of like watching them, especially certain moments, and I'm gonna use like, would you like to be on the channel as like the reaction person? And like he could even give his own little thoughts afterwards. And he got nervous about it because even though he loves content, my youngest is very shy. He's actually a very shy kid, and so he was very nervous about it. My oldest, it's been a while since he's watched any. I mean, like years, and so I thought about having him sit down and watching the chronologically released order because
right.
if he doesn't remember, well, I mean, of course he knows who Vader is, to Luke. But like that, if you watch the prequels before you watch the chronologically released order, that kind of thing doesn't matter. There's not like a big twist there at all. But my youngest probably doesn't really know, like, doesn't make the connections, like there's Luke Skywalker and there's Vader, but doesn't quite make the connection that they're related or something. Anyway, all right, moving on. I want to remind everybody of the new order. Aubrey and I have actually discovered, she came over on Thursday, and we discovered a way to make our preparation for the show go a lot faster. Aubrey is a musician, and she's very particular about where she wants music in the show. And so I'm actually editing the show, sending it to her, and then she puts it in her editing and then puts the music where she wants it and then renders it, and then it's done. So I've sent her the first episode with no music, and then she'll sort that out, and then I'll start editing the rest, but not worry about, that makes it a little bit easier on me not to have to worry about any of the music, and then I'll just send it to her. So we will have to be creative, as you know, with a couple of episodes to get them out there because we had some technical issues with a couple of them, but we found a fun way to fix that kind of issue.
I am very excited. This has been over a year in the makings, and not just in the beginning stages where we're talking about it, but especially these last few months. You guys have been really working intensely on the video. I know even that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand, especially about a lot of these YouTube shows, which we're always looking for editors. If you have any editing experience, or if you want to produce a show on Kyber Cave Productions, definitely get a hold of us. Or if you would like to help us, please let us know. There's always stuff we can do. I have a few shows in my head that I would love to launch, but we just don't have the work capacity load for it. Ms. Mezzo works so hard. She is our editor, director. She is our everything, our brains.
If you would like to help support the channel at patreon.com/Kyber Productions, a little as $1 a month, it really helps us out. You can also check out w.gg's and use code KCP2023 because that's when we started being sponsored for W. If you need your caffeine fix. If you also want to support Mezzo actually became sponsored by W as well. I've got a coupon code of my own. Accidentally, I was trying to like sign into Kyber Caves and I accidentally signed in as myself and got myself a code. I was like, wait, what did I just do? Whoops. Okay. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm at MezzoJD on everything. On Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, like all of that. I'm at MezzoJD. You can follow me on all those social medias. I am officially not like on Facebook, not as Mezzo. Okay. Only as my personal name, and I try not to share that online. All right, so guys, we're going to end our show with Talk of the Town. Make sure to tune in next week for Saber Rattle, and you'll find out more about that guest when I make a promo
I think
video.
we're waiting for the confirmation. I believe we have the DeLong family cosplay that will be on next week.
Okay, cool.
So it'll be a family of cosplayers.
Well, keep an eye out on the Kyber Cave Productions Facebook for that. All right, guys, have a good week. Bye.
Adios. Thanks for tuning in.